welcome to my first ever live stream on YouTube. It might also end up being the sweatiest and hottest live stream ever. So who knows, maybe I'll be able to put this on OnlyFans later. But I'm in Toronto, and as my analytics, if they're to be trusted, say that most of my audience is outside of Canada, thought I'd take you guys on a little walking tour of downtown Toronto. And starting off right behind me, we've got Scotiabank Arena. For all the sports fans out there, that's where the Raptors and the Leafs play. For those who have no idea what that is, those are the two professional basketball and hockey teams that we have here in Toronto. The Raptors actually won the championship a few years back, so they're still in a little bit of rebuild right now. The Leafs haven't won a Stanley Cup in my lifetime, so I don't, who knows what's happening with them. But that is the Scotiabank Arena there. And I am in downtown Toronto, like I said, on this hot summer's day. It's like 100 degrees with the humidity. For my Celsius friends, it's just over 30 degrees Celsius. So yeah, it's a hot, toasty one today. But I'll brave the elements and show you around anyways. So let's see. Since it's my first one, I don't know how any of these controls work. So let's see if I can turn the... Ah, that does turn the camera around. Fun. All right, so here, I'll take you I'll show you a little bit more of the facade. The IBM court up there is what the Toronto Raptors use as their practice facility. And you'll see this little area here in front of the stadium, which actually, when they're doing playoff games, they actually sort of close off this whole area and make it like a little fan expo as far as the eye can see. So it's pretty cool what they do. Only thing is, I don't think you're allowed alcohol in the fan expo, so it ends up being a lot of sort of families and teenage kids, which probably is a good thing. There's a bunch of little funky statues down there. People like to pose with and take pictures with and do all that other good stuff with. And hopefully I don't get hit by a car while I'm doing all this. You see people all around me. But as you can see, there's some fellows over there taking pictures with their favorite hockey heroes that have been immortalized in fake bronze. Or perhaps they got a glimpse of Medusa and turned into stone or marble or whatever was that thing is. But if you're a hockey fan, definitely come on down here and pose with some of these figurines. Knock yourself out. But we'll keep going. Those are the three metal thingies that stick out of the ground. I don't know what they're called, but I think they light up. I don't think they shoot any lasers out or rockets or anything like that. But that's basically the front of Scotiabank Arena. Inside is obviously the arena. Way back when it used to be called the Air Canada Centre, and a lot of people from Toronto still refer to it as the Air Canada Centre, so don't feel bad if that's what you know it as. Or the ACC. Comes off the tongue much easier. And of course, down the way, you have the other sports arena thing. You've got the Rogers Centre, where the Toronto Blue Jays, our Major League Baseball team, plays. So that's kind of cool. And hey, Jessica, how's it going? So I'm just taking everyone on a little bit of a tour of downtown Toronto right now on this really hot summer's day. So not sure if you're from Toronto, but put up a maple leaf if you're Canadian, why not? Or a Canadian flag, just so I know. So yeah, if anyone is in the live feed here, if you're from Canada, put up a maple leaf. Let us know as I continue this tour of downtown Toronto. And if there's any spot that you want me to check out that I can walk to, or something, or any questions you have, shoot them, put them in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking, because why not? It'll be fun. And anyhow, so I'll show you very briefly. I may not go all the way down there to the Rogers Centre, but that's the other big sporting facility we've got going on. So it was at the time the first fully retractable roof of any sports stadium, I believe. I think there's probably a bunch of them now, but back when it was built, it was the shit, because you could totally retract that roof and let the sun come in and save on your air conditioning bills. And so they said, oh my God, that's awesome. And it was kind of fun. And I think over the years, it's hard to say, like, it, because they wanted to use the facility for all kinds of stuff year round, and makes sense. The weather here, stinks most of the time, so it's good to be able to close it up. But I do miss having an old style ballpark where it's all open air, so that's too bad. But that's okay, because that's just life. So it's the Air Canada Centre is actually right beside the train, sort of Union Station, the main train station. Think of it like our Grand Central Station. And you'll notice that with everything in Toronto, people always compare it to something in New York. And there are some similarities between Toronto and New York, but New York's like 1,000 times bigger than we are. So everything here is like a sort of a watered down version of it. But that's usually the easiest way to reference something. And that is the Fairmont Royal York Hotel. You see the distance there? And that is back, when Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth used to drop by Toronto. Apparently that's where she used to stay, because within that hotel they have a special boutique hotel that you can stay at. That's so a hotel within a hotel. Fun fact. And it's a beautiful place to stay. If you ever get a chance to drop by there, I highly recommend it. They also, because the interior also looks like you've gone back into like the old Victorian times, they often use it when they have to film something back in the Victorian days. Like if they gotta film something from like the 1800s or something like that, and they're like, oh look, this is an old-timey hotel that old-timey people would go into. That's the one there. And you'll see also too a bunch of the more prominent skyscrapers in Toronto. As I wait for this light, I was going to show you some of the lake down there, but while we're doing that, I'll show you some of these skyscrapers. So there is the white one in the back, called First Canadian Place. That is the tallest building, I believe, and I believe it still is. The sort of darker black, sort of rectangular building there is for TD Bank, but I'm trying to remember the architect. I can't remember the architect, but it is someone famous, and they built very similar looking structures in Chicago. So if you're from Chicago, you'll notice that you guys also have financial buildings in your financial district that look similar to that. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of other ones. Anyways, the light has changed and we can finally walk the streets, and I will try not to get hit by any cars. Typically in Toronto, it's not too bad. People don't try to kill you too much. I've just, been in a lot. I'm just used to being in countries where people constantly try to run you over. So that is something I find interesting. So let's see. Once again, actually, you can catch a tiny glimpse of it. So I'll show you right now. The CN Tower. So that is probably the most prominent thing that Toronto is known for. I believe it's about 550 meters or so. What's that in miles? Probably, I'm just gonna pretend and say half a mile in terms of height. And unless they've increased the speed of the elevator, I believe it used to shoot up at something like 7 meters per second. And what that is in feet, I have no idea. A lot of feet, so it goes really, really fast. And once a year, they have a fundraiser where if you want to climb the stairs, you can raise some money for a charity. I believe it's the United Way. It probably still is, at least it used to be. And you can go up for free. And yeah, fun to do, but you only really need to do that once in your life, because climbing the 8 million stairs to get to the top is quite exhausting. So yeah, there is the CN Tower, at one time the world's tallest freestanding structure. Now I think it still is in the top 10 of tallest sort of things in the world, but definitely been knocked down by things like the Burj Khalifa and whatnot. Hard to compete with those. Those things are massive. And those are full-on proper buildings, whereas the CN Tower is really just a giant antenna. So they place it in a different category, and that's why they called it a freestanding structure, because that's exactly what it is. And I think they have to paint it once every 10 years, but they don't let me know that. So I'm walking south now towards the lake. So for those who don't know Toronto well, we've actually got a giant body of water. And so we've got like beaches, and we've got a waterfront, and we haven't done much with the waterfront. That's the problem. That's probably why most people don't really know anything about it. But let's continue on and see where I'll show you guys. Yeah, I'll show you guys the waterfront. It's nice. But this is the sort of elevated highway that runs through the southern section of the city here, called the Gardiner Expressway. At one point, they thought it was a good idea to put a highway down here, and over the years they've tried to fix it, and it is kind of falling apart. But I don't know, they've had all kinds of weird things like bury it, which I don't think is a good idea considering what happened in Chicago when they buried their highway there. And really what they just need to do is make the underneath of it just more inviting, because before it was just full of garbage, and so unfortunately unsavory people started hanging out underneath the bridge, and so you don't want to be there. So now they've kind of tried, you know, like here and there they've started painting things and cleaning up a little bit. But I mean, it'd be nice if they could find a way to put in some retail, because I want to say when I was in Sydney in Australia, they've also got a similar highway running through the bottom, sort of the by one of their waterways. But the difference is underneath the bridge, there's like shops and restaurants, and so you actually don't mind walking underneath the bridge and hanging out there. And actually, I think some of the best bars and restaurants are probably underneath bridges. So I seem to feel in London there's like in London there's like a whole bunch of really cool bars and restaurants I've been to that are located underneath bridges. But I guess their bridges were nicer. Their bridges were made of stone, and so it gave it a really cool stone archway. But here we come across, oh, there's a park over there. They just, I think they just opened it like last year, year before, called the Love Park. I don't know why the hell they call it a Love Park. It almost sounds like it's a place where people should go hook up or something like that. But obviously it's not, because it's out in public and it's just not a good idea. So, I mean, you know, some PDA, sure, you know, a high five, hold hands, dance around the park, I don't know. But here, I'll show you the park. I don't know why they call it Love Park. Let's discover it together. I'm sure maybe there's a sign or something like that. There's a placard. Maybe somebody in the park is giving the history of how it's got its naming rights. Who knows? Who knows? Oh, what's this? No, it's just the off-ramp. Sorry. Nothing interesting there. I thought there might be something interesting. But just an off-ramp for the highway. And as you can see in Toronto, lots and lots of glass buildings. Unfortunately, it's kind of boring that way. Glass buildings are cheap to build and go up quickly. But sadly, they lend very little to the personality of the city. I wish they would try a little harder. But such is life. Such is life. All right, so we're almost time to walk. Almost time to cross the street. And like I said, we're in downtown Toronto right now. And let me know whether or not there's anywhere that you want me to show you, what things you want to check out, things you want me to talk about, questions you might have about coming to the city, and anything else you can just randomly think of. Why not? So let's see. Almost time to cross the street. I know all you are holding your breath wondering, what is this Love Park he's speaking of? But indeed, that's what it's called, and I will show you in a moment. All right, they faked us out. Now we can cross. All right, so as you can see from the sign, what the heck? All right, so, oh yeah, and there's also bike lanes. So keep an eye on the bike lanes as you're going downtown. But as you can see, it is called the Love Park. Why is it called the Love Park? Nobody seems to know. Actually, I'm sure like 5 people know. Nobody really cares, I guess. But the important thing about the Love Park is that it's a park full of love. And they've got a pond in the middle shaped like a heart. So how could you not feel love when you see a pond shaped like a heart? Oh, hey, puppy. Actually, now I think about it, there is a really, really good reason for love in this park, because they actually have a dog park in this park. So if you happen in the area and you're with your friendly dog friend and you're like, hey, doggy, what you doing? Want to run around off leash? Here's a dog park for you to do just that. So actually, there you go. That's the love part of the Love Park, is the dog park. So that's pretty wild. But the water, if you see, the water's kind of green, kind of murky, looks kind of funky. And they did put out like a press release about that because people are getting a little concerned because when the park first opened, I guess the water didn't look like this, but they did say it's completely normal. It's part of the natural, I don't know, aquatic thing doohickey that's happening with the algae. They had fully expected that it would turn green like this because of the, I'm just gonna say, the natural flora and the algae that's in the water doing its thing. But either way, it actually doesn't smell. So until it does smell, then we don't necessarily have to worry about it so much, I guess. And the pond of the Love Park, there's all these things. There's like a statue of a beaver. There's someone who's, how did they get there? I guess they work here. Oh no, I guess they live there. Okay, that's all right too. So, and there's little kids, and there are, I guess they're monks or something like that. So they're here taking pictures. Or actually, I think there was a Hare Krishna parade earlier, so that could be them. But it's good to see that they're here, seeing the city, seeing the sights, doing some tourist shit. And so we're almost at the water. We are now at a street called Queens Quay. And the second part of it, the key part, is spelled Quay, or Q-U-A-Y, which makes you want to pronounce it Quay, which is how I pronounced it as a kid, because I was like, that's Queens Quay. But no, it's Queens Quay. It's a weird British thing. So, all right, let's try to cross this. Yeah, we're good. They're all fighting for position. It's almost like a Formula One race, but much slower, much slower. Okay, let's see. That guy's pumping his jams. Why do people do that? That's weird. At least play something more interesting. Anyways, so, oh, do you see that place over there? A lot of people like to buy their beaver tails. That's very, very popular. And in case you're wondering what a beaver tail is, it is basically a fried piece of flat dough that looks like a beaver tail, or I guess it's supposed to look like a beaver tail. And it's really just covered in sugar and whatever else you want. So it's kind of like a donut. Think about it like a flat donut. It's really what it is. They, if you're from Portland, you guys do something similar called elephant ears, where it's basically just a flat fried piece of dough that's supposed to kind of look like an elephant ear. But really it's just a fried flat piece of dough that's used as a carrying device for sugar and chocolate and all sorts of other sweets. All right, so here we are at the edge of the water. You can see there's water over there, but here is a bike path, so be careful when you're walking, so you don't get clobbered by the bike path. But there's also water taxis if you want drunk people to drive you around the water, so that's kind of interesting. Let's see. Let's keep going here. And so yeah, there's actually islands. You can see in the far distance there are actually islands off the Toronto harbor, and it's actually very nice to go there, just hang out for the day. There's like a little tiny amusement park for kids. There is at least one or two restaurants or bars there that you can kind of enjoy yourself, but it's just nature. Mostly it's just the nature. So plan your day. I think you can buy your tickets for the ferries online, so you don't have to line up for them. So do that, get your tickets in advance, and find the ferry terminal, and you'll want to go to Center Island. That's where all the action's at. There are actually people that live on the island as well, but they're only a small select group of people. And to the best of my knowledge, I believe the way that they ended up there was that they were originally just squatters, and so they just went and just kind of squatted their way over there, and it became such a pain for the government to try to get rid of them that they just gave them all leases that actually, I think they each have like a 100-year lease or something weird like that on the property. But the catch is that they can't sell the lease, and I think it can only be passed on to their family members. So, but the minute someone stops living on the island, then the lease is canceled, I believe, or something like that. It's something that kind of sounds like that in terms of how the rules work. So you'll see a lot of these fun yachts along the water here. So for anyone joining, we are in downtown Toronto, and I am taking you on my first live stream on YouTube and a tour of some of the tourist sites in Toronto that everyone tells you probably to avoid. But you know what? You're here, you might as well see them. And right now we are down by the water. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of the Toronto waterfront here. People often go on these cruise and dine for something fees, taxes, and there's probably no alcohol. But if there's alcohol, that's a pretty good deal actually. So, yes. And there is the fake tall ship, the Kajama. For the longest time, I had a blood feud with that ship, the Kajama, because I saw for years, and I thought it was a sailing ship. Like I thought, those sails go up, it does stuff, and so I was very excited to go on it. Only to discover it's like a diesel engine ship. It's like those sails don't work. It's all fake, and then I mean the only thing that did save it a little bit was at the end. There's like a little cannon that they shoot off and it goes bang, and I guess that's kind of fun, but not so super interesting. But yes, so that's the Kajama way off there in the distance, like that one. But don't be fooled, it is not a tall ship. Those sails don't work. See him lifting those sails there? It's just all for show. It does nothing. They're fake. They're lies. All lies. Don't believe them. All right. So, but go along the boardwalk here because why not? Because it's always fun to walk on the boardwalk. And there's actually there's actually some cool restaurants and bars along the waterfront here. I mean, they're okay. I mean, they're not going to be the finest cuisine in the whole wide world, and you don't really expect that in a touristy environment. So these, there's a chicken place that I think was down here that used to be pretty interesting. Can't remember what it's called. I wonder if it's even still here. I think it's gone now. Oh well, don't matter. So. Oh yeah, that's the island, sorry. I told you guys about the island earlier, so that's the island. There's like a yacht club and there's a little amusement park, but there's a lot of trees and there's a haunted lighthouse down there too, so you can go check that out. But let's see. Pie. I'm assuming it's a pizza place. Yes, it is. Wonder if it's any good. I'll have to try it someday. But this is, so as you can see here, more of the Toronto waterfront. Fun. Take the family down here, ride your bike, take a skateboard, do some tricks. I don't know, whatever cranks your boat. There's also an art gallery here called the Power Plant, which does sort of more modern contemporary art, and so that's kind of interesting. And you'll also have there's buskers doing their thing, or maybe there's an official thing from the gallery. Who knows? But it looks like they're doing like a Marie Antoinette things. They're gonna guillotine someone. So, or maybe this is actually not a performance and an actual real public execution. Who knows? We'll find out soon enough. Because unfortunately, I was gonna say if the crowd screams in horror, then you know that the guy just got killed. But considering how violent we are with our hockey, they might just scream out in joy. Either way, so who knows? But here is the power plant that I was telling you earlier. So they always seem to be renovating this thing, so I don't know if it's actually open. So if you do think about going there, check to make sure it's open. But I believe it was an old power plant where they made power. And then they shut it down. Now it's an art gallery. And I believe it is free just for the general stuff. And you just have to pay if they've got special exhibits going on. And on weekends, it looks like they do a little pop-up food festival. So, food of the Philippines, whatever that is. Oh wait, do they have a Toronto Loves Basketball? What? I didn't know about this. They have a Toronto. Yeah, okay, it's open, but they've got a little exhibit on basketball. That's kind of cool. All right. Good to know. Gluten-free empanadas. I didn't know there was such a thing. How crazy. But look at all of these fun little food stalls and this little pop-up. I wonder why. I wish I knew what this was. I wonder if it's actually like a festival or they're just chilling or doing whatever they're doing. Who knows? Momo-licious. I guess that's when you get some momos. I need to try some momos. I've not actually tried any momos yet. But for anyone that's joining, I am in downtown Toronto and just showing you guys around some of the touristy areas in the city on this really hot, blazing day. And there is the CN Tower, which is what most of you probably know Toronto for. And I seem to have found myself into some pop-up food festival, which is kind of cool. I just wish I knew what it was. Oh, it's called, no, I thought it was the Rock Barn, but I guess at some point, maybe later tonight, there's gonna be a party, maybe some kind of rocket party, who knows. But if anyone is listening in and you have questions about Toronto, or there's a particular spot you want me to go check out, put it in there, put it in the chat, and I'll see what I can do. Let's see, how do we get through all this? Chef Cobra with a K. It would be kind of cool if they're actually making Cobras. Unless, of course, Cobras are endangered, in which case, then that would not be so cool. Alright. Never did find out what market that was. But I think maybe it's just a market that pops up on the weekends, since there's just a sign that says market. Oh, events. La 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 la. No, does not tell me. It just says market. But that's all right. So let's see where I can show you guys. Just more. We'll just kind of randomly walk around until something interesting happens. Maybe someone will try to sell me like a timeshare. Maybe someone will try to tell me the history of Canada. Who knows? Who knows? Let's just go this way and I'll cross back over, go north, where there's lots of other fun things to be seen, to be had, to be experienced. Okay, let's cross here. Let's hope I don't get hit by a car. All right, or a bike actually. More likely here I'll get hit by a bike. Bicyclists are a little bit crazy in the city. Because at least with cars you kind of have to get licensed, so you kind of have to learn a few of the rules of the road. Whereas bicyclists, anyone can get a bike, and they don't have to know shit about how to ride a bike safely. So they just kind of do the thing. And then they get very angry at cars when they almost get hit. And fair enough, a lot of cars are crazy, and I really don't want to be a cyclist in the city because drivers aren't really used to seeing cars or something. I mean, the drivers aren't used to seeing bikes. And so they really constantly try to kill you. But at least most of them kind of try not to kill you. Whereas I feel with a lot of the bicyclists, they're just nuts. And yeah, and I bicycle myself too, so that's why I know. I've seen it. Oh God. So, oh well. Anyways, moving on from there. So more of the giant buildings that you have in downtown Toronto. So yeah, anyone that doesn't live in a major urban city will find it really weird to be surrounded by all these giant structures and wonder, why do we need all these buildings? I don't know. So, but actually that building is kind of cool to me anyways, because it kind of looks like a giant zipper. Although I have had people who have gotten very, very upset. Who really hated that design. And it turns out that they have a fear of zippers. I know, strange. I don't understand it. I don't try to judge it. It just happens. So we will keep going. We will keep going. Let's see. Oh, ice cream truck playing its sweet songs to everyone, trying to lure you in, trying to get you to buy some ice cream. And once again, for anyone who is joining us, I am in downtown Toronto, giving you guys a walking tour of some of the most touristy areas of the city that everyone tells you to avoid. But hey, you know what? It's a nice day. They probably do have their merit somehow, or maybe not. I don't know. And in case anyone wants to buy a place, apparently 15 Merchants Wharf, Unit 1236 is available. Check it out on the property guys. Actually, I'm gonna cross over here because I can hide in the shadows a little bit because it is a hot and toasty day. You know what? Since I've had, there you go, turning around for a little bit so you kind of see what's going on around me. So yeah, it is a hot and sunny day. Oops. All right, so this, once again, we are back. That's the sun. Don't stare directly at it. And what street are we on here? York Street, yes. So York Street is one of those streets that runs north-south. And where possible, you can take it because usually there's not as much traffic on it. But today might be a little slightly different story. So I'll leave you with some images. Actually, that building there, I think it's called the Ice Tower or something weird like that. I always hear horrible things about it because apparently I think 90% of the building is like Airbnb, and so it's just a whole bunch of randos in there. So if you ever see our Airbnb rental for downtown Toronto, and it turns out to be like the Ice Towers or Ice something with the word ice in it, you probably might think twice about staying in there because there's been a lot of incidents. And I mean, it's affordable, so if you're willing to deal with a little bit of, we'll call it adventure, then why not? But there's definitely been some interesting situations there just because none of the owners live there, or barely any of them do anyways, so who knows. So yes, let the guy make his turn. Oh well, people don't obey, and he gets stuck in, I don't know why he was waiting for so long, but all right. Well, now he's blocking up the traffic, so just don't be that guy. Okay, let's see. We're heading north now. I'm gonna try to show you guys some other spots, but here in the meantime, enjoy the scenes of a typical Saturday in downtown Toronto, when it's not snowing. If it was snowing, if the weather was bad, then things might be a little different. But as it's a sunny day and it's not raining or snowing or tornadoing, there's no earthquakes happening, we are good. And as I said, they've tried to spruce up the underneath of this bridge, make it look less like a freaking apocalyptic war zone. So they've just thrown some paint on, and I guess even a little bit of paint helps. So if that's all they can afford, then that's all they can afford. All right, and we wait. That's the only thing I hate. The lights always seem to not be the ones I want. Because the one I want goes that way, not this way. But that's life. But here, it gives me a chance to show you more of this crumbling concrete structure we call the Gardiner Expressway. It is very popular to use because I guess in theory, when it's not jammed up, it does move you from one place to another quickly. But there are just way too many cars in the city. The city has grown so much and the infrastructure has not kept up. So it is, like, as you can see here, traffic is just all jammed up most of the day. You see the on-ramp over there for the Gardiner is just I could walk faster than that. So it is unfortunate. It is one of the things that happens when a city grows quickly. Both good and bad. All right, finally I got my light. Let's go. So here's some fun facts as we're crossing the street here. And for anyone who has just joined, I am taking a walking tour of downtown Toronto. And fun fact, Toronto is Canada's largest city, which I think most people do know, but thought I'd throw it out there in case in case you did not know. But the one thing that people always think is, everyone always thinks that Toronto is the capital city of Canada, which it is not. So there, that trivia answer could win you a beer someday in a bar in a remote area. So Toronto is not the capital city of Canada. The capital city of Canada is actually a funny sounding city called Ottawa. So for anyone who is not Canadian, you've likely never heard of Ottawa. It is a city that's about 4 hours east of Toronto, I want to say. And it's always entertaining people. I think he's complaining about his sister. I'm not really totally sure what's going on there. But yes, it gets really chilly there, and I think they chose it for that reason, that if anyone tried to invade, they would just get frozen before they ever made it to the city, and thus the invasion would be thwarted, which I guess is a good idea, unless you have to live there, in which case you're always on permafrost. There's the CN Tower again, for those who are fans of towers. The one-time tallest freestanding structure in the world, no longer so, but I think still in the top 10, perhaps. Someone will have to let me know. All right. And the Scotiabank Arena for sports fans over there, where the professional basketball and hockey team play, the Raptors and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And down there, you see that little curvy thing with the white roof there. That is where the baseball team plays. It's called the Rogers Center. Which actually, all those teams are now they're all owned by the Rogers family, or Rogers, which is a big telecommunications company in Canada, and I believe they are also the second richest family in Canada, second or third, something like that. But my stats might be a little out of date. All right. So, for those of you who are fans of Citibank, that's their building here in downtown Toronto. For fans of TD Bank, that's one of their buildings there. I'm just doing random shout-outs to random to random bank buildings in the city, because there are a lot of them, at least in the financial district. Generally, all the banks have multiple buildings down here. All right, so let's see. Unfortunately, the waterfront is blocked off almost by not just the Gardiner Expressway back there, forming that weird shield. There's this thing here that these are the train tracks. So I wonder if my signal will continue. I guess we'll see. We'll see if this. So yeah, unfortunately, you have to walk through here, and it's actually a little bit better lit than it used to be in past years, but unfortunately you still end up having a lot of people who live underneath, and doesn't always make it the most comfortable to walk through, and it's not the cleanest area to walk through either. However, I guess there is that slight indoor section over there I could have walked through as well, which actually goes into the commuter train station there. So I guess I could have done that, but oh well, that's fine. Generally, it's fine. I mean, generally no one's bugging anyone. Just watch your step. So we are almost emerging from the other side. And for anyone who's joining, I'm giving you a little tour of downtown Toronto. So if you have any questions about Toronto, if there's any spots you want to check, put them in the chat and I'll see what I can do. And it is a really hot day. It's like 100 degrees for anyone curious. So, and it's kind of humid as well. So, whew, it's quite a workout. It's quite a workout. So, yes, here is the Royal York Hotel, one of the finest hotels in the downtown core. And for those who missed it, when the Queen used to come visit, she used to stay there because they have a boutique hotel within the hotel that has butler service and all that other good stuff. That golden building there is the headquarters for the Royal Bank of Canada, and that is indeed gold. That they put a very thin layer of gold. I think just like a few microns. It's for decoration. I think you squish it all down, there'd be less than like a pound of gold or something. But still looks pretty. And whew, all right, here we are. Got more buildings. All right, let's cross it over. So, if the Royal York Hotel here looks familiar, it's often used in place for like the Plaza Hotel in New York, or I think they even use it for the Waldorf sometimes because it has that similar sort of look to it, especially on the inside. On the inside, I think it looks a little bit like the Waldorf. And of course, nothing really looks like the Plaza Hotel in New York. So on the inside, anyways. So, and if you ever visit Toronto and you're flying in on the Island Airport, I forgot to mention when we were down there that the Toronto Islands actually has a small airport, and so you happen to be flying in there, you can take the little free bus for either, because it'll likely either be Porter or Air Canada that is there, and there's a free bus that'll get you into the city center. I mean, it's not too far away, but it's always nice, especially if you're staying in the downtown core, the financial district there, or if you're headed to Union Station, it's just right over there. So it's nice to hop on that little shuttle, and it will get you to the train station, so you don't have to figure out how you can get to the train station. The Union Hotel, that place just opened. It's kind of it's got a 70s vibe to it. There's a cool cafe in the lobby called the Humble Donkey, because nothing's more outrageous than an obnoxious donkey. And really good Wi-Fi in there, actually. I don't know if it's just because no one knows about it just yet, but the Wi-Fi speeds are actually really good. So if you want to use it as a bit of a co-working space, you can do that too. And the cafe also serves alcohol, so just in case you need that extra kick beyond caffeine. So let's see what else we got going on here. And here is more of, actually, there's something I'm going to show you guys once we cross the street here, because I think it's pretty cool. So if you look beside me, there is that sort of orange brick building. Let's see if I can try to do this without anyone getting in my way. I think I'm driving people crazy, but that's all right. So that orange brick building back there, that's something called like the Toronto Club, which is probably the most prestigious private club in the city. You will find almost no information about them online. And in fact, yeah, it's a fun activity. I will challenge anyone to find their phone number for the Toronto Club and website, which to the best of my knowledge, they do not have a website. They've got a phone, but you're not going to get that number unless you're someone that should have that number. So it's almost, yeah, if the Illuminati was active in Toronto, they would likely be hanging out in there. So, fun fact, the Toronto Club, you're not getting in unless you know someone, and sometimes you're in. But it's kind of fun if you get inside it. For fans of the show Downton Abbey, it kind of takes you back to Downton Abbey with everyone in their white tie and tails. Kind of fun. So, but they have a dress code, so make sure you wear men, make sure you wear a suit and tie. Women, I believe you have to wear a dress of some sort. Or no, actually, I don't think you have to wear a dress, but just, something. You can't go in there in like casual, no Lululemon basically, and so just dress up. But definitely, guys, you need a jacket and a tie. So let's see. What else is down here? Just more of the financial district, more of these buildings, and more of that building. That silver building back there is the headquarters for CIBC, which is one of the major banks here in Canada. And one fun thing too is if you've never been in a really, really tall building, it's worth it to go inside, because on a windy day, the buildings all kind of sway. And if you don't realize it's supposed to do that, you at first are a little bit concerned that the building might snap or something, but no, it's all good. They are designed that way. They are designed to sway in the wind so that they don't snap. because otherwise it's pretty hard to build a structure that's strong enough to stand up to the wind, because the wind is strong and there's a lot of surface area for it to push on. So that's a little fun thing for you guys to do. Find yourselves a tall building to get yourselves into, and look at that First Canadian Place. That's the tallest building, I believe, at least for now. And you'll see in the corner there's a little divot in there, so doesn't go to like just a corner in the corner. There's almost like two corners. So one of the reasons they did that is because people in finance, being ego driven, everyone wants a corner office. So by doing that, they could double the number of corner offices on each floor. So twice the number of people now could claim to have a corner office and feed their ego. That's a fun fact for you. Let's see, where should we go next? Let's go this way. Maybe I should slowly make my way up to that thing called Dundas Square, or I think they may have renamed it. I don't know what they call it now. But there's this thing that I think is supposed to be our answer to Times Square. Those who have been listening from earlier will remember that I did say that we have a tendency to use New York landmarks to when we're referencing Toronto ones, to put it in context for people who are like, what the hell are you talking about? Well, that's what we're talking about. So, oh look, hey, we've got streetcars or trolleys or trams. So depending on where you are from, I don't know what you call them, but that's one of them right there. So they're a fun way to move around the city. They're powered solely from electricity. So all the electric vehicle buffs out there might get a kick out of it. And they're kind of cool. The only thing is that they can be a little slow sometimes, unless they're one of the ones that are in the dedicated lanes. So because the ones that are not in the dedicated lanes, they sometimes get stuck in traffic and not a lot they can do. But when they're in the dedicated lanes, they just blow right through. All right, more of the financial district. What's going on? Oh, actually, I'm going to show you guys this other thing that's over there. But, oh, there's a little cafe called Bready. I've heard Bready's actually pretty good. Haven't had a chance to try it yet. But formerly here was a Starbucks. So, in case you want to see whether or not there's life after Starbucks. And this is the mailbox. It looks like it's had better days, but if you're wondering why there's the writing all over it, it's to try to stop people from graffitiing it. So, fun fact. They did that to stop people from putting graffiti on the mailboxes, because I don't remember which level of government it was that was fining people for not cleaning off their graffiti. And as every single mailbox with graffiti on it, Canada Post, which is our mail service, was going to get fined more money than they could ever afford in their lifetime. So they had to try to figure out a way of stopping people from graffitiing, because they could clean it, but someone will come back and tag it afterwards because it's just like a clean canvas. So they decided to go and do that. Here, more of the funky buildings downtown. So I'm going to take you guys to something. It's on Adelaide. It's a little piece of art, and I think it's kind of cool. It's a giant head, so you can kind of see the giant head over there. But I'm sure you're thinking, it's just a giant head. What could be so interesting about this giant head? Well, I'll show you. So as we're walking by this giant head, you're like, hey, that just looks like a giant bust or something. It's a giant head. And then as you keep walking, you're like, wait, that giant head's starting to look a little bit strange, because I thought it was like bigger than that or rounder than that. And then you realize it's just really flat. And so it's a fun optical illusion. So you see, it's just like a really flat head. They should, I don't know what the name of the statue is, but they surely should call it Flathead Man. But yeah, if you're right straight on, then you see it's just a flat head. But as you move away from it, it actually looks like it's actually a fuller statue. That's not just a flat head. So pretty wild. But let's go, or is it a female? I don't know. We'll say flathead person then. So it is called Dreaming by Jomi Plonsa, I think. At least I think that's the artist name, and it's called Dreaming. but it's also possible that the statue is called Jom E Plan Sa and the artist name is Dreaming. Who knows? One of those two is correct. So let's keep going. Can we get through this way? I think we can. Let's try. Because where I want to go is basically directly straight ahead. So if I don't have to make a giant loop-the-loop around, I don't want to do that. Oh, what's going on here? Well, I guess someone's building a outdoor patio area. That's kind of cool. Yeah, sadly in Toronto, we really only get about 4 months at best of patio space. And the Keg, it's a chain of steakhouse if you want. It's like, I don't know. It's like we'll call it like the what's that? Like the Denny's of steakhouses. It's good priced. I mean, it's good value for what it is, and it's consistent. But here's a place called the Chef's Hall, which is actually really cool. So it's a food hall, and at least what I call like the hipster food courts. So there's a whole bunch of food outlets inside that you can go in and check out and have some food, have some drinks, do your thing. But when the weather hits, they've also got this outdoor area here that you can also hang out at and enjoy your drinks and your food and do whatever you want to do. Definitely used to be a lot livelier, but since work from home, everyone's just working from home, so no one's around anymore, which is too bad. But hopefully these businesses can all survive. And let's see, that's the Sheraton Hotel over there. And I believe I seem to feel, because I don't know if people realize that the Four Seasons actually started in Canada. So it's actually a Canadian thing. And I believe that the first big development that they did was this here. It wasn't called the Sheraton at the time, but this building was the first big hotel that they actually built. Once again, I could be completely making that up, but for now, that's what I'm going with. So we'll keep going. I'm gonna take you guys down to something called Nathan Phillips Square, which is also City Hall. So another large concrete structure that's kind of like Dundas Square, which will likely be our final destination, as it's freaking hot out here and I'm melting. But as I promised you guys Dundas Square, I will get you guys to Dundas Square eventually. But first, I'll show you Nathan Phillips Square, which is, if for those who believe in alien conspiracies, I think this will just fuel it a little bit, because one of the buildings in Nathan Phillips Square is shaped like a flying saucer. So that's not evidence of alien conspiracy. I don't know what is. So once again, so those who are joining, this is a tour of downtown Toronto, and there is a streetcar or a tram or a trolley, depending on what you're talking about. And they will, Kingston Road. I'm just naturally gravitated towards anything named King. And oh yeah, if you're enjoying this, like and subscribe. I keep forgetting. Oh, there's the Opera House right there. All right, finally, let's cross. I just seem to be hitting all the lights. So, all right, let's see. What else are we doing here? All right, nothing terribly interesting. It's just the driveway for the hotel, otherwise known as the Sheraton Center. That's the back of the Opera House, for those of you who like opera. And right in front of me, actually behind all those trees, I'll see if I can get a glimpse of it, is something called Osgoode Hall. And I don't know if they still, I know there's still like some court, I want to say there's still some courtrooms in there, and it is used for, I think the Law Society might have their offices in there, but there's also a really cool restaurant that I believe is only open for lunch, that you can go and have lunch in. And it's like, inside like the old law library or something like that. But beautiful grounds. People do use this to take a lot of pictures, especially wedding pictures, um, within the grounds of this place here. Um, yeah, you know what? Why not? I'll walk through a little bit. I was gonna go head down that way, but since I'm here, since I'm showing you guys the city, I might as well show you guys the grounds of Osgoode Hall. And like I said, if you ever here during the day and you want some lunch, there's a restaurant inside. If you can make reservations, even better. Osgoode Hall fence. Oh, the fence has been here since 1867. And oh, am I able to get in? Oh, look, I can squeeze in. Wow, I didn't think I'd be able to get in. All right, so here is the grounds of Osgoode Hall, where if you have something to celebrate and you want a spot that's slightly picturesque, if you want to transport yourself into another time, because with these buildings you could pretend. You could say, hey, I've just accidentally gone back to the 1800s. And you can prove it by showing them that sign that says that fence has been there since 1867. So yeah, yeah, oh cool, yeah, that's right, I forgot, they've got the little cobblestone pathway here, so it really helps to sell the point that you've been transported back in time. Just make sure they don't see other things like that parking sign, and you might just be able to sell this. And of course, don't come at night because there's these lights on this ramp, and actually this ramp will give you away too. So really just stand right there, don't move anywhere. Just stand right there, and people will believe that you are in the 1800s. All right, let's go this way and finally make it to Nathan Phillips Square. Oh look, there's my shadow. Whew. Okay, so as we cross through here, you'll see a giant bell tower, and that is the original City Hall, or one of the, we'll call it the original City Hall, because I think the original one is somewhere else, but we'll call this one the original because it is called Old City Hall. And the roof is made of copper, so eventually it'll turn green. At one point it did, and they decided to repair it, and it was a shiny copper for many, many years until it got tarnished over, and now it's that weird in between, almost rusty, almost green color, but not quite. But eventually it get back to that beautiful green that we all know when copper does this thing. And then they built this right next to it, which is New City Hall, or this area is all called Nathan Phillips Square. And this is new. What is this? This fountain here with a turtle, or something that looks like a turtle. And it is for the something. It's commemorating something along with this thing here. All right. Well, I'm glad it's commemorating something. And there's a giant shiny silver canoe, which I've not seen before. Huh. Interesting. There's all this new art. That kind of cool. And I think these stone statues are called nukshuks, I think, which were built by the Inuit people up north. So that's kind of cool. And they're making all these webs, almost like a dream catcher situation. So that's kind of cool. And these are temporary art installations. They do have a stage here, so occasionally they do have performances or public events of some sort. But it looks like they have some kind of art. Oh, it's the Toronto Outdoor Art Fair. Ah, that's what's going on. Kind of cool. So yeah, here unexpectedly, we are now at the Toronto Outdoor Art Fair. And here's the giant Toronto sign. If anyone is wondering where the Toronto sign is, it's in Nathan Phillips Square by City Hall. So go there to look for it if you want to take a picture of yourself by the Toronto sign. But let's see what's going on down here in the Toronto Outdoor Art Fair. Apparently, what's on stage? People are just kind of sitting on stage having chats, I think, about art. Kind of cool. I'm not deep enough, I don't think, to have chats about art and kind of a dumb guy that way. I do like art, but I'm not as knowledgeable about it as I should be, and nor will I pretend to be. So let's see. Oh, cool! And they're serving cocktails in there. That makes conversation go much better. That's a secret for anyone that wants to have an in-depth conversation anywhere. Serve alcohol. People get very in-depth. Let's see. So that's some of the art that's on display, along with all the artists. I think I do know someone that is exhibiting her art somewhere here, but I don't remember which thing she's at. And I don't want to bug her if she's busy selling her art. So if I happen to see her, I'll say hello, and y'all can all meet her. But that's all right. I'm sure she's busy. She's a very talented artist. So, all right, let's see. Ooh, the Mayor's Purchase Award. Wow, look at that. And there's another shot there. Old City Hall. And there's a guy back there, almost looks like a dupe of The Rock, but I won't bug him about that because he'll probably kick my ass. Anyways, moving on. We are almost at that place that you guys are all waiting for, otherwise known as Dundas Square, or I think there's a new name for it now. I think it's like Kanofi Square or Sanofi, or I don't know. Maybe there'll be a sign there to tell us. So once again, there is oh man. Once again, the light is not in my favor. The hell, man. What can I do to buy myself a break? But that's okay. That gives me a chance to show you guys Bay Street. This is, once again, using another New York reference, it's a Canadian version of Wall Street called Bay Street. So, and this is another shot of Old City Hall. There are courthouses in there. The place is extremely haunted because obviously it's been around for a long time and lots of people have unfortunately passed away in there. So, Old City Hall looks nothing like the new City Hall, which, like I said, looks like a flying saucer for all you alien conspiracy people. So, and for anyone joining, we are in downtown Toronto. I'm showing you guys a little walking tour of some of the touristy sites that everyone tells you to avoid. If you're enjoying this, like and subscribe, tell your friends, do stuff. Oh, sirens. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go. So we are on our way to what was formerly known as Dundas Square. I don't remember the new name of it. It's something bizarre. I'm not even sure how they came up with the name. Because I think they just kind of, I don't know, they probably use like ChatGPT or something. And these bikes, if you see them in the city, you can rent them actually and ride them around the city if you want to take your life into your own hands. Adults in the city, do not require or do not have to wear a helmet by law. If you are under 18 or under 12 or something, I believe you have to. And some of the bikes are actually electric, so if you don't want to pedal, there are electric bikes that you can rent as well. So check it out. And they do charge by the minute, but I believe you can get like a day pass as well. So if you're going to use it for the day, get a day pass so you don't go bankrupt. All right, let's see. We're still walking up Bay Street, which, as I said, is the Toronto equivalent of Wall Street. And so far, no one's actually, I'm surprised nobody's tried to sell me anything yet, because usually there's a lot of people trying to sell you something. Or especially the people that want you to donate to a charity. And as much as you want to donate to a charity, I don't necessarily know I want to donate to some random guy in the street with a clipboard. So just go online and donate to your favorite charities. But I do feel bad for a lot of these people. They did a report on them saying that a lot of them used to just work in commission. So they don't sell anything, they don't get nothing, which is not the way it's supposed to be, which they've changed now. So now they get minimum wage of some sort, which is good, because sometimes no matter how good of a salesperson you are, just nobody wants to buy. So nobody wants to buy, and that's life. So we are coming up on an iconic Canadian institution. So for those of you who don't know anything about Canadian retail, there is a store called Canadian Tire. And it doesn't just sell tires, which for the longest time I think was their tagline, more than just tires. So it has expanded to be just, they sell just about everything. I mean, I almost want to say it's not quite Walmart, not quite Target. I mean, originally from the name of the stores, you can see Canadian Tire. Automotive was where they started off, so there's definitely a lot of hardware. So you can get your tools there, but it's slowly expanded to be everything you possibly need, and including clothing. They also bought something called Marks, which sells casual clothing, we'll call it. I think it used to be workwear way back in the day, and now it still is more outdoorsy sort of wear and workwear, but that's what it is. So they sell a little bit of everything. You want some furniture, go in there. You want some detergent, go in there. You want to buy a drill, go for it. Everything you want, Canadian Tire. And they used, I don't know if they still hand it out, but they used to print their own money as well. They used to call it Canadian Tire money. And they've operated since 1922. Fun. So they used to print out money that was printed on stuff that's very similar to a Canadian banknote, so it's kind of cool. And so every time you make a purchase, they give you a percentage of your purchase back in Canadian Tire money. And I think, yeah, they probably still do it, actually, now that I think about it. So you want a souvenir, go pay for something in cash, and they will give you back some Canadian Tire money. They won't give it to you for a credit card because they'll lose that percentage in transaction fees. So there's more of the streetcars, as you see. In terms of what I was saying earlier, the fact that the streetcars sometimes just get stuck in traffic because they can't go anywhere. It's not like they can drive around something, so if they get held back by something, then I just, door opened up there and it's air conditioning coming through. So that was really nice there. So anyways, actually, I'll show you guys this. Right now we are coming towards something called Eaton Centre, which is a giant mall in the city. So yeah, here you go, the Toronto Eaton Centre. But the university is also located close to here, and called what is it called now? It used to be called Ryerson. Now it's called Metropolitan or something. Who knows? Anyways, they also use this building, Toronto Metropolitan University. They also use this as one of the buildings for their campus. So the campus is kind of spread out in this downtown area here, which is kind of cool. If you're going to school, and you can head right into the mall. Actually, over there, as we're approaching Dundas Square, there's movie theaters there, and the theaters that is located on land that is owned by the university. And one of the agreements is that early in the day they can use the theaters as a classroom. So that's kind of a cool setup they've got going on. So that'd be kind of fun if you've got classes there and you're basically sitting in a movie theater. Okay, so we are now closing in on that thing called Dundas Square, or whatever it is called now. So it is just multiple slabs of concrete where people go and hang out and things happen. Sometimes on the weekend they have festivals, so maybe there'll be a festival going on there today. And it looks like, it looks like there's some kind of festival going on, so we'll see. New Year's Eve, they also do the celebrations here, and they also do the celebrations at Nathan Phillips Square too. So I don't know which one it is, but let's see whether or not anything bizarre happens. But actually, this intersection is really cool. So I'm just gonna hold here for just a moment to see whether or not it'll actually, because this is a scramble corner. And for those of you that don't know what a scramble corner is, it's one of those where suddenly, at some point, you can cross in every single direction. And it's going on right now, as you can see. So you can instead of crossing this way or that way, I can cross, excuse me, through the middle of the street and just can hang out. And people have used this for like performances, doing art, whatever. Shake Shack, that guy's filming. See, it's really interesting. But anyways, I'm gonna circle back around this way because that's just what I do. And so yeah, that's a scramble corner. I don't know that we have another one in Canada, but if they do, someone can let me know. And what the hell do people freaking blast their music? God damn it. All right, so here is Dundas Square or whatever it's called now. So looks like they've got a little food festival here. And of course, as I'm trying to live stream here, all the sirens pop up. All the music's blasting. All right, that's okay. That's just because it's 100 degrees. Otherwise, I wouldn't care so much. But anyways, here, I'll show you the rest of this again. So it's just a little food festival. I don't know that they're actually celebrating anything. I think they just decided to get a whole bunch of people together and sell some food. But sure, why not? Because normally there's just a flat slab of concrete doing absolutely nothing. So, what? Paul McCartney's doing another concert? So anyways, if you're one of those people that doesn't think that you look at enough electronic screens, come down to Dundas Square where you're surrounded by screens. It's like a wet dream for anyone who likes digital screens. So check that out. Okay, let's cut across here. Panda skewer. I wish they were serving panda. Don't trick me like that, panda skewer people. That's false advertising. Don't get my hopes up. Anyways, let's see what's going on. There's these Turkish delight for those who like it. And let's see. And they turned it off. I think there used to be, or at least there is sometimes, a fountain of some sort that sprays up toxic water. So I guess they've turned it off for the festival. So why not? And there is the mall. There's a random guy selling drinks. It's a sightseeing double-decker bus. And this is Yonge Street, which at some point was, I think, the longest street in the world, supposedly. I don't know. I never quite confirmed that, but that's just what we're told. So anyways, that concludes the tour today of the city. If you guys want me to do more, let me know. If you got any questions, send them over. And like and subscribe, follow me, tell your friends. And if you enjoyed this, like I said, tell me what you want me to do next. And thanks for joining me for my very first live stream on YouTube. I will catch you guys later. Ciao.